How's it going, guys? So I am doing my song deconstruction video today for the week one of the Make a Song Every Week for 6 months challenge that I'm doing, or I think that's what it's called. Song a Week challenge. Yeah, Song a Week challenge. So these videos are just going to be a kind of deconstructed beat breakdown series that I'm doing. And if you've seen Genius, they have like a similar series where they'll have an artist kind of break down a song that they've made. And I thought that it would be cool to have this series on my YouTube channel aside from like the main videos, as a way to just keep myself accountable when it comes to sticking to this challenge, and then also like just documenting my process for making music. So I thought, this will be a cool way to capture all that. And the format of these videos is going to be kind of like what you're seeing now. So I have the screen recording going on. I got myself in the corner right here. Hey, how you doing, brother? How you doing? Good to see you, man. Good to see you. So it's going to be pretty casual. I'm thinking for this video, I'm just going to start off with the song. So I'm going to play the song. Then I'm going to talk about the idea that I had for this song. What was I thinking about making, and was it different from how it turned out, which is usually the case. Then jump into the production a little bit. Then writing lyrics. So my approach to writing lyrics. I'm not going to talk too much about the meaning of the lyrics or like what I wanted to convey, because I kind of want to leave that up to the listener to interpret the lyrics in their own way, because I think part of the magic comes from just not explaining things. So I'm not going to try to explain like, oh, why did I use this word star in this line at this point in time in the song? Like, it's not going to be like super in depth like that. It's just more about like my process for writing and what I did this past week. Then recording vocals, mixing. The bit of mixing that I didn't actually mix this song at all, really, to be honest, because I finished like right before the deadline of the end of the week. And yeah, I just decided to upload what I had. So we'll talk a little bit about that. But after mixing, I'm just going to talk a little bit about next steps, like how I want to improve the process going forward for this week. So it's kind of like a retro where I look back on, how I did and see if there's anything that I can do differently to make the process more efficient and be more productive. So that's kind of the format. I'm going to have some fun, just going to keep it casual. It's not supposed to be like a Teams meeting presentation at work, so I hope it doesn't come across like that. But yeah, so the other thing I want to note is technically I made this song not last week, but the week before. I just decided after the first week to like start this song breakdown series. So I'm showcasing the song that I made not last week, but the week before. I didn't make a song last week because I was kind of thinking about like, do I want to do this series or not? So I kind of gave myself a bye week. Okay, I get it. Like, I'm already not on track per se, but going forward, this week I plan to make a song, and then next week and so on and so forth till the end of the year, because now I have like a good rhythm going. So that's the excuse I'll make for last week. But anyway, so let's get into it. This is what I'm showing you right now is the project that I have open in Logic. So I use Logic for production and recording. And I decided to export the track, the instrumental, and I added in my vocals on top of it just because I have 8 gigs of RAM on my Mac and it slows down a lot when I'm using Logic. I definitely need to upgrade my PC, my Mac. And I think it's just something that I need to do at some point. So I decided to just add the vocals in a separate project and just mix it that way. So this is the instrumental. It's called Rise and Shine, Kiddos. I have no idea why I called it that. I actually made this beat like about 3 years ago. This was during COVID. Me and a couple of my friends were doing this snippets. We had this group called Snippet Squad, and we were doing something called a daily snippet challenge. So basically what that meant was you just work on music every day, and then you just bounce out or export whatever you've worked on, and you send it in this, at the time we were using Slack, but whatever group chat you're using, and then you just review and provide feedback on it. So that was pretty helpful for me because I was making a lot of progress, and I felt like I just felt like I really progressed as a producer. Well, more as a beat maker because I wasn't really mixing much, but just in general, I just felt like I was making more music, and I had focused more on production back then, and now I want to kind of focus on like the full enchilada, like the whole thing of the whole process of making a beat, writing lyrics, recording, mixing, and maybe touching on mastering a little bit. I have a couple friends who are much better at that than me, so I'll just have them maybe do it for me. But anyway, that's a lot of talking. I'm just going to get straight to it. So I'm going to play the song now, and yeah, you will see me reacting to my own song. So we'll see how that turns out. 3, 2, 1. Sometimes I look up and wonder, sometimes I sit back and ponder. Some nights I'm falling asleep, hope I don't wake from the thunder. These constellations I see, a canopy to lay under. These stars are capsules of time, unnerving yet so sublime. I find my peace when I'm dreaming of simple scenes I'm perceiving. This dash of hope feels relieving, so I'm sinking into this feeling. My ambition flows like the water, at a pressure that no one can alter. And my mind's in constant connection with my heart that gives me direction. Sometimes I don't quit, sometimes I quit fast. Sometimes I feel like I don't even know how to react. Can't find a way to snap back, can't step aside to backtrack. Can't find a way, so I take a stand and then say, I need to move to Manhattan. Guess again, guess again. I need to unpack my baggage. Guess again, guess again. I need to soar like a dragon. Guess again, guess again. I need to trust the old adage. Guess again, guess again. Can't open doors that keep closing. Can't open doors that stay closed. Can't open doors that keep closing. Can't crack the code. Can't open doors that keep closing. Can't open doors that stay closed. Can't open doors that keep closing. Can't crack the code. No answers, no answers. 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 Is this a joke? I need to move to Manhattan. Guess again, guess again. I need to unpack my baggage. Guess again, guess again. I need to soar like a dragon. Guess again, guess again. I need to trust the old adage. Guess again. And when I see myself with all the creases, I feel the zeal inside my soul suddenly ceases. And if I sit and wait for revelation, I'd have to suffer with the pain of hesitation. Shout out to the past version of me for making this song. This was so weird. I was like looking at myself in the camera, like trying to, it's just so weird. Like I feel like when you play your own song, like no matter what setting it is, it's always just it's like super awkward at first because you're like, I like my song, but I also know like where I could have made some changes and made it better. So like I don't like ever fully 100% accept what I've made. So like I'm also like cringing in the back, like, oh man, that sounds so bad. Like so, but yeah, I mean overall I think it turned out well. Obviously there's a lot of room for improvement, but I will get into that. So I'm going to stop this recording and I'm going to pick it back up and we're going to jump into the production. So peace. I'm back and I have opened up the project for the beat or instrumental of this track. So now I'm just going to talk through the production a little bit. So I guess where should I start? So I made this back in 2020, which I mentioned before. It was during COVID. So like, you know, everyone was in lockdown. I was just trying to like use that time as much as I could towards like working on music. And this was the first time where I was actually spending like close to like 4 hours a day, like actually like making beats and like producing and stuff. And I hadn't spent like that much time since college, like since I graduated like 4 years ago. So it's been about 4 years now. So it was really cool to be able to have that time to really like dive deep into like learning how to produce, and I'm still like an amateur in my opinion. Like I have so much to learn. Like I still don't know what I'm doing half the time. So for this track, like I wanted to make something chill. I started off with these chords, which I picked up from the Unison MIDI chord pack. And the Unison MIDI chord pack is, I guess you could call it a cheat code, to be honest, for people who don't know like music theory like me. Like it's like the easy way out for it. So I just put together like a chord progression of these 4 chords that I thought sounded really good. So let me try to play that for you here so you can hear it. So I started off with, hold on, that was not it. That was not it at all. But okay, I started with those 4 chords, and you can see it's in C minor. So it was like 4 different triads, and then I added like a 4th note to kind of create like a 7th chord. I don't know if this is actually the right way to approach that. To be honest, my knowledge of music theory is pretty limited at the moment. That's one thing I do want to work on going forward. But the MIDI chord pack is pretty nice because it groups together chord progressions by the key signature that you want to use, key and scale. So C minor is what I ended up clicking like in the folder section of the Unison MIDI chord pack, and then I just put together a couple of the chords that I thought sounded good. And this is kind of, I guess let me just solo this here. Sorry, it's not letting me. Okay, you know what? I don't know why. Oh, it's because I soloed everything. I was wondering why is this not letting me like just play the chords? So yeah, I guess we can just work off of this here. So this is just like an ambient. Sorry, I don't know what's going on. This is just like an ambient preset with Alchemy in Logic, and Alchemy is like one of the stock VSTs that comes with Alchemy, but it's like super dope. Like it's super nice, and you can get some really cool sounds just from using the presets here. Anybody who uses Logic probably uses Alchemy. So I'm sorry if I'm speaking to like expert producers here who are watching this video. I know like Alchemy is definitely like one of those synths where you can create like effects that you could probably get with something more expensive like Serum or Contact. I haven't worked with either of those. I've just been using Alchemy just because it's free and it came with Logic. And I don't even like use that many advanced effects, to be honest. Like I just stick to one of these presets, and then I'll just mess around with the Perform tab that's shown here to try to just get like a cool sound. So this like pad was like something that I thought sounded pretty cool. I didn't actually end up using this in the song, but I just wanted to illustrate like the 4 chords that I used here. And so that was basically like the heart of the song. So I started off with that. Once I got the 4 chords down, I was like, all right, like I can build off of that, create a melody. And the melody here is actually what really stands out for me in this beat. So I have this Sign Bells preset that I'm using in Alchemy, and it just has a really nice, really calm, like tranquil kind of feel to it. So that's one layer, and then the other layer is the same 4 chords the same chord progression, but I have just stacked a couple of the notes of the melody on top of it. And it just sounds really nice, very smooth, very, introspective, and that's kind of what I wanted to create with this one. So once I got the sound down, I was like, okay, this is actually going to be pretty fire. So I added like some other effects on top. So I EQ'd it a little bit, then I put a reverb plugin, so I used Space Designer here, just like the default setting. Then I added some overdrive. I used like a directional mixer here as well to widen it out a little bit. I can't even speak. And then I use like a spreader, which I think also affects like the stereo image of it. Not really exactly sure how this one works, but I just threw it on there. So that's kind of like the main like meat of the song, is really like this plays out throughout the whole track. And then after I created that, I was like, okay, like I got to add some drums. So I just use the standard kind of like kick snare pattern here. I use the Sam Gelatry kit that I found on Reddit. So this is just like a drum kit that I found that I thought was like super nice. Like it has these really like punchy kicks, and Sam Gelatry is like one of my favorite artists / producers. If you don't know who he is, definitely check out his music. He's a beast. Super innovative, and he's definitely broken some ground in like the EDM space and also in hip hop as well. So I just stacked like two different kicks on top of each other to create like this I guess like I always stack like two different types of kicks because I always think it adds a little bit more like meat to like the low end of the song. But again, I know there's different ways to mix, the low end of a track, especially when you're making sure that when you're trying not to let it clash with like other elements in the song. Again, I just, at the time when I was making this, I'm like, I just wanted to sound loud and boomy, so I just stacked like a bunch of kicks like this, and then I just thought it sounded decent. Like the snare itself it's kind of thin sounding. It sounds kind of weak, but I guess I was talking about this snare here, like that really like tinny sounding snare. But then I added this one here because I thought it gives it a little bit more like weight to it. So when you play both of them together, it creates like a little bit more of like a full snare sound. Even then, I think that this could have been definitely EQ'd a little bit more to make it mesh well with the kick here as well. So let me just play like the drums by itself so you can hear what that sounds like. Yeah, so let's do this. Ooh, I completely forgot about this. Yeah, there's like this this like tambourine sound that's also in the, let me X out of that here. That's also in the, I don't know why it's not letting me, what the heck. That's also in the drum kit. And I like love tambourine. I love anything like any high-end like unique sounding percussion. I always like to put in my tracks because I think it adds a little more character. So like this tambourine, I was like, this has to be in the track, bro. Like this has to be in it. So I added this here too, and it just fit well. Like I think it just felt really nice with the track. And then I had this like jingle. It's literally called a jingle. Like I'm thinking of like Christmas right now. You just like have like jingle bells just playing or something. Like this is literally called a jingle. Like I don't even know if that's like a real term for like this percussive like element. I'm not exactly sure, but that's just kind of funny to me. So one thing here is that the hi-hats that I'm using here are actually different from the hi-hats that you hear in the actual song. The reason is because the sample that I was using, I think it was on my external hard drive that got corrupted like a year after I made this, so I had to replace it with a different hi-hat sound, and the one that I'm using now is just, it's not as good. Like it just sounds very sharp and piercing and not as soft as the open hi-hat, I think, sample that I was using in the actual song. So I just decided to replace it with a different hat sound just for this breakdown video, but I would have liked to have, had the actual hi-hat in here to show you, but so that's basically the hats. I mean, it's a pretty standard pattern, like, yeah, and the thing is, it's kind of awkward at the end. It doesn't like finish, like the loop doesn't really finish. It kind of like almost like it almost like stutters for a second and then comes back to it. It doesn't sound like complete. It doesn't sound like you're coming home at the end of like this 4-bar loop here. But and I think that's because I'm probably missing a sample in this. So that's probably the reason why. You can definitely tell that I did not prepare. I did not prepare how to give like this breakdown of this song. Like I literally I'm just winging it right now because I want it to be natural. So I think with time I will get better at doing this. But it's just weird like showing my project. I've never shown like my project to anyone because I think it's like something that's super secretive. Like I'm always super secretive about it because I'm like I don't know what I'm doing most of the time and I don't want to like look like stupid like showing this to someone who actually makes music and he's like, what are you doing, bro? Like, do you not know how to like organize your files and stuff? So this is a learning experience in itself, but you know, I want to be open about it. I don't want to just hide anything. So yeah, I think it's gonna be fun just going through this every week. So this is the 808 for the track. I also am using a 808 sample from Sam Gellatry's drum kit. And the 808 pattern is pretty simple. It's basically just I matched the first note in each of the chords. I think that's kind of like a standard approach to just creating something that fits and gels well with the rest of the song. So if I play this along with like the main sine bell that I was showing you for the melody, which is completely forgot where that was. Where did it go? Yeah, it's up here. Yeah, so like so I start on C here. C, I jump to D, G, C, D, and this is the key. The song is in the key of C minor, so I just kind of matched the chords. It does sound a little off. I could be slightly off. I'm trying to train my ear as well. That's one thing that I want to get better at because I've never like practiced like learning by ear before. Like I played violin in middle school, so I have like some background when it comes to like music theory, but I've forgotten a lot of it, and now I'm realizing like how much I don't know. So this is the reason why I'm doing a song a week, because like I really want to get better at just being able to pick out when things don't sound right. So that's the whole reason why I'm even making these videos, so I can learn. You know, it's more about me learning than like teaching or showing you how to do something. So, but yeah, I think this sounds good to me. Yeah, and you can see here, like if I go back up here, just to, where was I at? Yeah, right here with the melody. Yeah, so we're starting with like C, we're going D, oops, F sharp, D. Yeah, so C, F, D, and then ending with G. So same as the chords, same as the notes, I'm using for the 808 here. So we jump from C to F to D and then back to G. So I literally just kept the root note of each chord. I think it's called the root note. And basically just thought it sounded pretty good, so just decided to roll with that. The other thing is I added this bird sample here, which I thought was really nice. I always like adding like some field recording or something to give a natural vibe, so I kind of create this environment for where the song resides, where the beat really exists, and I think that's what I want to do going forward. It's something that I just find to be like super cool when I listen to other music, so I just thought it'd be nice to do the same in this song, because it just feels more fitting, like just having these birds like tweeting in your ear and stuff. Tweeting in your ear, chirping, sorry. I guess I gotta get off Twitter or something. I don't even have a Twitter account, but like the word tweeting just sounded better to say in that moment. So. And then I had these ambient chords, which I was showing earlier. Oh, okay. This is actually not in the actual track, but I'll show you anyway. This was like, oh yeah. So I was like really not feeling inspired one day when I was working on this. This was before I was like writing lyrics or anything. Before I was even thinking of turning this into an actual song. So I just decided to like completely turn this into like this really hype, like almost Odessa Loyal, if you've heard that song Loyal from Odessa, that like very like heavy like trumpets, like this brass section just like coming together and just forming this like super motivational uplift, like, you know, you're about to like face it, you're about to go into battle type vibe. So I just like this goes kind of hard, I'm not gonna lie, like this goes hard. But then I was like, oh, it's super cheesy. Like this sounds like some stock music that you'd find for like the cinematic suspense, like cinematic suspense type beat. And like there's like, I don't know, there's like some like Ghost Rider type like image like as the visualizer for the video, and you just see like flames everywhere, like something like super like over the top. Like that's what this sounds like right here. Like this. Like, but I was like, you know, I could actually try this out. Like I could actually use this for something, but I decided like I didn't want to put this in the song and be like, you know, listen to this and be like, can't crack the code, I can't crack the code, I can't crack it anymore, I can't crack the code, yeah, I can't crack the code, yeah. I need to move to Manhattan, I need to unpack my baggage, I need to untrack the damage, I forgot my own lyrics, yeah. I need to unpack my baggage right now, yeah. I need to unpack my baggage right now. Yeah, see, like that wouldn't have worked. Pardon my untrained vocals, which is another thing that I am going to be working on over these 6 months. All right, I spent way too long on this section. It's literally been like 20 minutes. So now let's just jump into the lyrics. I think I've spent enough time on production. Again, still pretty new to this. And I'm realizing how much I don't know from like making music. Like I think that's the thing. Like I had this sense like, oh yeah, bro, I can make a beat easily, dog. Like just give me anything, man. I can make that in like 10 seconds. Easy. You want a Kanye type beat? I got you. You want like a Playboi Carti type beat? I got you. You want some like old school Lupe Fiasco type beat? I got you. You want some Ramzoid / Flume / Ikali / Odessa type beat? I got you. Like it's easy, man. Like all you gotta do is just think about it and just drag in the samples and then boom, it's done. Like, and then when you actually like jump into like making it, I'm like, does this note sound right? Is this actually within the same key? Is this in key or is this part of this chord? Like I'm so lost. So that's the best thing about it is like I'm actually learning. And I know like when I watch this back, I'm gonna be like, wow, I don't know literally anything about what I'm talking about. But that's the point. Like I want to be completely honest, like on what I know. That's the whole reason I'm just putting myself out here and doing these videos. So yeah, I think that's really the purpose of it. So let's jump into lyrics now. This is the note that I wrote the lyrics in for this song. I use macOS notes for writing lyrics just because I think it's easy to edit on my iPhone and then sync it with the iCloud and then just pull it up on macOS and just keep editing on my computer. So when I'm recording, when I'm just like riffing and trying to come up with like ideas for what I want to like talk about, what I want to, you know, rap about, I'll usually just play the beat and then I'll freestyle for about like sometimes like 10 minutes, 30 minutes. It really depends. If I have no idea what I'm talking about, I just want to freestyle, get a sense of the flow. And once I get a sense of the flow, then I'll jump into like actually coming up with material that I want to talk about, or getting like a topic for the song. Because if I try to like focus so hard on a topic from the get-go, I think it sometimes holds me back from being more creative. But there are times where I like know exactly what I want to talk about, and I don't really take that time to explore like different themes or topics that would work well with the song. So it's really like a mix of both. It's either one way or the other, but for 90% of the time I'd say like I just freestyle, and then there's like a phrase or something I'll come up with, and that will be like the hook for the song, or like one of the lines in like a verse that I use for the song. So that's kind of how the song kind of forms itself, essentially. It kind of like almost creates itself in a sense. Inception reference, if you got that. So I'll just be like freestyling, like I need a just I need a yeah, I need a I keep saying the lyrics, but it'll be something like, never gonna find a way to drop, and I'm in my head, and I know I can't stop, that I run around, make sure that I what I'm doing when I'm hitting the ground, I'm going around town, and I can't even figure out what I'm doing nice, sometimes that I live in a back and I feel the ice, and I wanna do it, and I know I do it right, now I gotta wake up in the morning every single night, my hands up and I can't even go against all of the words. I'm just trying to go when I swear. I'm living my life and now I know her. Running in circles, I can't figure out what to do next. Sometimes I lose my head to my own mess, and I gotta figure out what I'm even doing. So I'm not even saying like anything coherent. I'm just literally just flowing, like just continue to flow. Like these days, I don't really feel like my mind's in a different haze. I can't wake up and not go asleep in the middle of the nighttime. When I find out and I'm never gonna face it, looking in a minute, feels like facing, I faced it. I look at automatic, but I know it's real. Sometimes I'm living in the flow is fear. I put my hands to the ceiling, now I'm being me. I'm never gonna use this in a song. Cause I'm trying to be better at every single thing that I'm doing. Never gonna stop it, never gonna be so confusing. Yeah, I gotta find a way to get better sometimes. In the middle of the nighttime I'll shine. Never gonna find a way to face against those who come near me. Cause I'm okay and I'm going off the cuff and I'm feeling alright now. Sometimes I'm just living in my mind and I feel like I could rewind time like back to the beat. Okay, I think I am really tired right now, so I cannot freestyle well. But yeah, that's the idea. So I'll freestyle, and then I can actually play some takes here that I did previously. Yeah. So I recorded on my Rode NT1 microphone, and I used a interface, which I do not have on my desk right now. It's the Behringer Euphoria 2-channel interface. It's pretty basic. It's like a $100 interface. You can get on Amazon. Obviously, a hi-fi recording is not something that is one of my priorities at the moment, as you can tell. No, I'm just kidding. I'm trying to get a focus right, or like something that could just give maybe a higher quality recording, because I think I am limited by my interface. Sometimes I do hear like a lot of like unnecessary static, or like it could be the XLR cable where I can hear like the current running through the cable. I'm pretty sure that's what that is. And there's like some static and like just some weird like interference that I get when I'm recording. So I may upgrade my interface soon, but I think for now it's fine. Like I'm not trying to go for any professional sounding vocals, because I'm also in my apartment and there's really like the room isn't treated, so I know I'm not going to get the best quality vocals. I'd have to go and book time in a studio to actually get that. But for the challenge, I think the goal is really just to stick to recording and not fuss too much about like getting everything to sound perfect. So I recorded all of these takes here, and I copied over everything that I recorded down here that I wanted to use. I copied up here, and then I just labeled them different tracks based on what they're going to actually be used for in the song. So this is like, I don't know why it's not, yeah. That was the automation, but yeah. So I have like the main. Oops. So this is the main vocal. This is the main verse. So I recorded like, I recorded like 24 takes, and then I just like comped it together. So just took the best parts from each of these takes, and then smashed it together. Just because I was not able to do it in one take. Yeah, just blew my cover there. But I think like overall, since I sound the same pretty much on every take when I'm doing it all in one sequence, I feel like it's really easy for me to just pick and choose certain sections to use because it tends to flow pretty smoothly. Like I don't feel like it's that jarring when I'm switching from like one take to the other. Like over here, for example. Like I just passed through like 4 takes there. So like in this case, like I think that's fine. Obviously I want to limit the amount of comping I do and try to get it in one take. It's also based on the writing as well. So like it's really a combination of writing the song so that when I record it, it sounds natural. And that's really what I want to get to. So that was recording vocals. Really, it's just trial and error, honestly. Like that was my strategy for last week, was just continue to record, try different things. And this is super weird, but basically the part where I say guess again during the hook of the song, so I just cut that out from the actual track that I had going on for the entire song. I mean, sorry, the one track I was using to record, I kept it running and I did the guess again part while I was also doing the main chorus lines, which are, but I wanted to mix the guess again parts separately, so I just cut them out from the rest of the recording, and then I created separate tracks for them so that I could add effects on top. And I just automated the volume a little bit here, and just added like a compressor and then EQ'd it a little bit. Yeah, my battery's about to die. So because my battery's about to die, I'm just gonna switch to mixing real quick. So for this track, I essentially just kept everything pretty simple in terms of the mixing. I didn't really do too much, just added a compressor and EQ on each of these. And then I threw in some reverb on each of these layered vocals, which is basically me saying the same phrase, but they're different takes, so it sounds kind of like more of like a chorus. But I'm not singing anything differently or anything. It's just stacking the vocals gives it more of that spacious feel. So that's what I did there. And then on the master, I just added a limiter with a ton of gain. Whoever looks at this will be like, dude, this guy has no idea what he's doing. Like, what the hell is this? I was just cranking it. Okay, I'll be honest. I was just cranking it. I really didn't care at this point. So I just cranked that and then cranked that. Shout out to Soulja Boy. And then I use the stereo widener directional mixer just because it gives me more space to work with. So I always throw this on. I don't know if that's the right thing to do, but it just works for me. So that was it. That was a very lightning speed pass through the mixer. Man, that was actually kind of a cool analogy there. But yeah, so the lightning speed pass through the mixing, sorry. So that was pretty much it for this Song a Week breakdown. I know it's very chaotic, very unorganized, but again, I'm just trying to keep it natural. I don't want to make it sound like I'm presenting to you like, okay, today we're going to be talking about how to mix. Because like I don't really, have the technical knowledge at this point to speak to everything that I'm doing here, but it's more of just capturing what I've done, and I just want to talk about like my process for making each song. So that's the purpose of this series. And going forward, I think the next for the next video, I'm definitely gonna try to focus on structuring each part of this video. And in terms of the actual like process of making the song, I think since I'm gonna be making a new beat this week and then also recording, I have to really prioritize certain days for production and certain days for recording. So tonight, like after this video, I have some time. I'm gonna start working on making the beat for the next song, or working on the instrumental. And then on Wednesday and Thursday, because today's Monday when I'm making this video, Wednesday and Thursday I'm going to be writing lyrics, finish it up over the weekend and record. And I will try to like watch some videos on music theory and also mixing as well, because I do want to get better at, kind of putting all the layers together, making sure I can, dial in all the right settings to get it to sound more cohesive. So I just want to work on mixing a little bit each week and then focus the rest of the time on actually making the song and then watching a couple of tutorials when it comes to like music theory as well. So that's pretty much my plan. Hope you enjoyed this. Hope it was somewhat entertaining. If it wasn't helpful, I hope that you got something from it. I know that it was really random and I was rambling a lot. As you can tell, I've not done this before, so this is my first time doing it. But yeah, I had fun, and I definitely look forward to making more of these videos in the future. So thanks so much for watching. Keep diving into flow, and I will see you soon when my next video drops. Peace! I need to move to Manhattan. Guess again. I need to unpack my baggage. Guess again. I need to soar like a dragon. Guess again. I need to trust the old adage. Guess again. And when I see myself with all the creases, I feel the zeal inside my soul suddenly ceases. And if I sit and wait for revelation, I'd have to suffer with the pain of hesitation.